Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 36th U.S. Open 9-Ball Championships. We're coming to you live in HD from the Accu-Stats Arena here at the Chesapeake Conference Center in Chesapeake, Virginia. 6 days ago, 250 of the best players on the planet came here to vie for this most prestigious title. There were approximately 12 players left in the tournament. This is winner's side action. We'd like to take a minute to just say once again, thanks to all the sponsors that have helped make this possible, starting, of course, with Q-Master Billiards, Diamond Billiard Products, Simonis Cloth, Aramuth Billiard Balls, the Delta 13 Rack, and our newest sponsor, we're glad to have them with us, the Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company. Our first player comes to us from Acworth, Georgia. This gentleman is a 4-time World 9-Ball champion. 11 times he's been voted Player of the Year. He's the 1999 U.S. Open 9-Ball champion. 14 times he's represented the USA on the Mosconi Cup, and he's also been Mosconi Cup captain. And in 2009, he took his rightful place in the BCA Hall of Fame. Sponsored by Scorpion Cues, the Bonus Ball League, which, by the way, begins play next year, and Yallen Billiards. Please welcome the Scorpion, Johnny Archer. And his opponent, from Pontefract, Yorkshire in England. This gentleman is the 2008 World 10-Ball champion. He's the 2009 Party Poker Masters champion. 2010 Mosconi Cup MVP for Team Europe. 2010 Billiards Digest Player of the Year. He is the reigning and defending U.S. Open 9-Ball champion. Sponsored by Predator, Yallen Billiards, and CSystem.com. It's Dynamite Darren Appleton. Winner side action, race to 11, rack your own. We're going to send it up to the booth to the best in the business, Jim Wych and Billy Incardona.
Well, once again, thank you very much. Great to be here, and welcome to the 36th Annual U.S. Open 9-Ball Championships, brought to you by Q-Master Billiards of Virginia Beach with 73 tables. It's the largest billiard room in the country. The ACCUSTATS Arena here, and great to see my buddy Billy Incardona sat beside me. I was looking for Danny, and he was gone.
Well, you know, Danny, he just woke up a little while ago, and he takes his time getting here.
He had a good excuse to sleep in.
He walks a little slow now, you know.
Our good friend Danny inducted into the Hall of Fame last night. Billy and I were there, and what a special moment that was for our good pal. And I can't believe the tissue box never came out, Billy.
Yeah, I was really happy for Danny. You know, he's been a great player, and he's been great for the game for years. You know, he's like the Joe Paterno of pool. You know, he just like never goes away. 76 years old and still playing, teaching, and doing commentary, and everything he does well.
Yeah, his game, or his life, revolves around the game. Archer breaking from the spot that he was so successful in beating Antonio Linning 11-3 on this table. And a dry break to kick things off. It's a race to 11. This is winner's side action. The 1999 U.S. Open champion Johnny Archer against the defending U.S. Open champion Darren Appleton. Darrell Peach is playing right below us. I was watching him just prior to these guys kicking off, and there are matches going on all around the arena here. We'll try and keep you updated as best we can.
If you notice where he pushed, he was in a position where it was really difficult for him to push, because if he pushes down table, Archer obviously going to shoot the shot and hook him behind the 4-7. So Darrell pushed for a kick. Archer obviously has to pass it. Let's see how well Darren does here. He had a real difficult situation when he had a push.
Darren Appleton from the booming metropolis of Pontefract in England. And he has really made a statement. That might be a foul.
Yeah, I don't see a rail, so it is a foul. Archer will have ball in hand, but that's the results of the bad roll he got off Archer's break. You know, he didn't even have a place to push. So he did what he could do. He didn't really do it that well. Archer has ball in hand, game one. Balls are spread nicely over the table, Jim. Archer has to get out here. He'll send a message early to Appleton. Archer's been playing really, really well in this tournament. I watched him play in a few of his matches. He seems very comfortable. And this is a tournament he would really love to win. He hasn't really done that well in the majors. And this tournament here he would really love. And he's playing very well. Now the 4 to the 5 is a little tricky considering the position of the green 6. So he's going to have to play pretty accurate position on the 5. I look for him to go in between the 8 and the 6 with the cue ball off the 4. Sending it toward the 5. He would like to end up straight in on the 5. That way he won't have to travel much with the cue ball. But of course, if he's a little shaky with getting that type of position, they don't have to play position and cut the 5 and either go 3 cushions around or cross table twice.
Yeah, a little easier to play this shot when you've got about 8, 9, 10 racks under your belt. But given that this is the first rack in the race to 11, a little tougher, but that's pretty good effort there.
He's going to have to get an angle on the 6 considering the position of the 7 on the opposite rail. He's a little flat now. This shot has to be struck fairly hard. And with the type of angle that he has here, this pocket weight may not accept the shot if it's not hit cleanly. This is a big shot right here. And it's not an easy one. It hit a little roughly, but the pocket was generous in giving him the ball. And once again, he's come to the table and he's got a pretty tough shot on the 7 here. This certainly isn't a gimme, is it?
No, not at all. And again, the fact that it's a first rack just makes it a little bit trickier.
Yeah, he's maybe experiencing those early rack jitters. Nicely executed shot. He's in fairly good line on the 8. He'll be able to let his stroke out here, pocket the 8, and obviously the lower right-hand corner, drawing the cue ball to the side rail. This rack should be his, Jim. Main number 1 should go to Archer.
And with the winner break, winner racking format, as Johnny deposits that 9 in and opens his account 1-0. We can quickly tell you that that 9, if it's made into the 2 bottom corners, it's respotted. Any of the other 4 pockets, if that 9 is made off the break, it counts as a win in that rack.
What happens if you make the 9 in the lower corner and it's the only ball you make? Do you spot it and keep shooting?
Correct. It counts as a ball down. You don't lose your turn at the table, but the 9 still comes up.
Archer came up dry on his first break, but he was fortunate not to leave Appleton a shot on the 1, or even a safety shot on the 1. So let's see what happens here on break number 2. He's been breaking the balls really well. Jim said that earlier, and he's been breaking them well on this table, but not so in the first rack. This is game number 2.
Well, same spot. And that was characteristic of his match last time he played here against Linning. A little bit more force that time.
What's the 9?
Yeah, tracking towards that side pocket. And look at this. How do you like coming to the table with this?
He likes coming to the table with this as much as he didn't like coming to the table the last time Archer broke the balls. Matter of fact, he probably likes this even more.
1-9 combination for Darren Appleton. And that didn't take long. Just like that, it's 1-1. The dry break that time punished. And the score deadlocked. Johnny Archer beat Fernandez in his opening round. Then Craw, Abernathy, Pinniger, and Linning en route to this match with Appleton. And let's have another look at that combination, the 1-9 that secured Darren Appleton his first rack.
He would have probably preferred to run 9 balls, but I'm certainly sure he's happy he'll take that.
As long as you get to move that bead, that's what counts. Rack number 3.
Now, Appleton doesn't break the balls as hard as Archer, but nevertheless, he breaks them well enough. He gets good action because of the solid hit on the 1. Watch the cue ball. It's going to spin in the pocket. It's got that spin on it. Watch out. That's what he didn't want to do. He didn't want to scratch on the break because he had some of the momentum that Archer, Archer broke the balls and he had a little momentum. Now he's going to get kissed into the corner here, Jim. See the 2-ball kiss it? Now with that side spin on the cue ball, see it spinning in? It's going to hit the other cushion and spin in. Very unfortunate for Appleton to have scratched on his break, but you know what? That's pool. That's the nature of the game.
Billy, I don't know whether you were around the arena when Darren Appleton was playing Jason Klatt yesterday. He was 7-2 down at one stage, trailed 10-6, won the last 5 to stay unbeaten.
Well, that's one of the characteristics of this man. He doesn't give up. He just does not give up, and he believes he can win from any position, and he's proven it, over and over. And that's why he is a former U.S. Open champion and a world champion. He's going to be very difficult to beat. Archer knows it. This is an interesting situation here. He can play the 4-6 combination, but what's going to happen with the 4? It's going to go into the 7. I look for him to hit this with some speed because he's going to have to get some movement off that 4. He's got a bad angle on the 4. It's going to send him away from the 4 after he makes the 6. So therefore, he's going to have to get movement on the 4 after it hits the 7. Very difficult shot here. Oh, he can make the 4. I didn't think he could make the 4. He surprised me there.
Nice on the 5 now.
This is very interesting considering the position of the 7. The 8 blocks the pocket for the 7. He can cut the 5 in and go 2 cushions and shoot the 6 and knock the 7 away from the position that it's in. Now he's straight on the 6. He would like to go around the 7. I don't know if he has the angle to do that. He may have the angle to force it in and go around the 7. Because that's what he needs to do. And he does. Very nicely executed. This rack played beautifully by Archer. Rack number 3, Jim. And it looks like Archer may take the lead in the match 2-1.
Just got that look, doesn't he, Billy? We've seen it before. He's just got that hunger. He's gained a little bit of weight again. Looks a little healthier. Just seems a little hungrier this year than he has in the past.
And I like the speed that he's playing with. He's playing a little quicker than he normally does. That's a sign of a confident player.
Especially in his case. Johnny Archer takes the rack, 2-1 the lead. And he'll have the break in rack number 4. Yeah, you talk about Archer. We've, again, seen him so many times in the past when he starts getting in his own way, cleaning the table up, moving balls from pockets to pockets, and that's not Archer at his best. When he's getting down and just getting on with it and plays at a nice, quick pace, that's when he's confident.
And I agree. I think when you stop and you take some lint off the table or you take a ball out of the pocket to clear the pocket, that's just a nervous habit. And I think that sort of like diminishes your ability in some way to play. And I think if you're fluid at the table, you go around the table effortlessly running balls, I think that's when you're at your best.
And placing that cue ball delicately to the same spot on the table. He's had 2 dry breaks in this match already. Let's see what he can do here.
Well, he hit the balls really well that time, and he hit them hard, but he didn't come up with a shot, and neither did Appleton.
Well, 3 for 3. He hasn't made a ball yet off the break, Johnny, and he's 2-1 ahead.
Notice the position of the 9 ball.
This is going to be tough, this push.
I don't believe he can kick combinate the 1-6 because he's going to have to kick it and stick the cue ball behind the 4. But the position of the 9 ball, closely positioned on the rail, mind you, not off the rail, on the rail, big problems later on in the rack.
What a great shot from Darren Appleton there.
Nicely executed.
Had to kick it, that one, and he couldn't have played that one any better.
Very difficult hit here, Jim. Very difficult. He can probably kick off the side rail and lengthen it out a little bit with a little, high riding leash.
Yeah, I think they're waiting for an official, Billy. They've just, Johnny's just let him know the path that he wants to attack that one, and given that it's so close to the 5, you just want to make sure that it's a legal hit, and they're waiting for an official to come to the main arena here. I don't think it's going to be too tough to tell a bad hit from a good one, but you know something? It's not supposed to be in the hands of the players.
And I agree. If there's any chance of a bad hit and a close hit, you better summon the official over or the tournament director or whomever and let them call it, because you don't want to dispute. You know, this is the U.S. Open. These are two guys that are really, have a lot of integrity, and I don't think anything should be questioned at this point. Call over the official and let him take care of it. That's his job. In the meantime, very difficult hit. I don't think Archer's going to hit the 1.
Yeah, they're still waiting. Now Ken Schumann is making his way to the main table here in the ACCUSTATS arena. Our tournament director.
Now he's got to be careful not to hit the 7. Now the 7 is the ball in front of the side pocket. See where his cue stick is? That's the angle that he has to take to go 3 cushions in behind the 1 and hit it. Now he's going to have to come very close to the 7 to get onto that track. Let's see how well he does with this very difficult shot. Keep in mind the 9 is still frozen on that side rail in front of the pocket, but it won't go in the side. Very difficult position for the 9. I don't know. It was very close. That's what we were talking about earlier, Jim. That was a very close hit. And from my vantage point, even looking at the monitor, I couldn't even tell.
Yeah, well,
maybe we can slow it up and take another look at it.
And again, he shot it so fast that, it was tough. But this was close. Let's watch it again.
Good call. It was a bad hit. It was it was very, very close. I think it was a bad hit. And
well, I know one thing, Billy. I wouldn't want to have to make that call.
But I like the way he called it. No hesitation, and he called it. That's what he's supposed to do. He can't scratch his head and say, "Oh, he's got to call it."
Well, it was a good shout to call the tournament director over and make that call. Because I guarantee you, if he wouldn't have been there, we might have had a little discussion.
I wouldn't have wanted to be neither player if he didn't summon the tournament director over to take a look at that hit. Because that hit was so close. No matter who it went to, if it was decided between the players, they would have felt there was something wrong with it.
And Darren's looking at the 2-5 combination at the top. Got ball in hand, so he's going to track that cue ball right up along that left-hand side.
And I love the way he's playing position on the 1 to get up table. He played it in the correct pocket, so he can feel that angle with the cue ball much better with where he positioned the cue ball to pocket the 1 than he could have with any other angle. I liked what he did there. But this rack is a very tough rack, Jim, considering the position of the 9.
Yeah, nicely on the 2, the 3. It's going to be a 4-6 combination.
I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to move the 9 right now, Jim.
He's got the angle, Billy. He will.
Oh, he said, no, I'm not going to fool with it. I thought the 4 was next. I'm sorry. The red 3 was next. Had the 4 been next, I think he would have tried to move the 9. But he couldn't afford to move it off the 2 because of the position of the 3. He's going to have to play the 9 in the lower right-hand corner. That seems to be the best pocket to play position for the 9. And if he does that, that point of the side pocket sticks out. He may hit that point of the side pocket if he opts to play the 9 in the lower right-hand corner. He would like to play the 9 in the upper right-hand corner, but to do that, you have to position the cue ball perfectly for the 9, and that would be near or closely frozen to that side rail. I don't think he can afford to attempt that. He might try to play the 8 off the 9 as well. He's in position to do that. If he plays the 7 to the side, he can play position for the 8 to go off the 9, move the 9, and pocket the 8 in the side. That's what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing. And he played beautiful position on the 7 to keep that angle to reposition the cue ball for this possible kiss-off.
And the only danger here is catching the 9 too thick.
If you catch the 9 too thick, you get a double kiss and you miss the ball. Oh, he tried to play the kiss-off, but he wasn't able to do that. But in the meantime, he positioned the cue ball straight in on the 9. That's the only place he could have positioned it to have a shot with the on the 9. I tell you what, there was a lot of work in that rack, and he certainly handled it quite nicely.
Well, so far, the breaker hasn't won a rack. 2-2. And it's Darren Appleton's turn to break rack number 5.
Both players seem very confident. They're playing really well. And there's no surprise why these guys are still on the undefeated side, because they're really playing well. And Darren Appleton, the former U.S. Open champion, as Johnny Archer is, this is going to be a battle to the end. I think this is going to be like an 11-10, no more than 11-9, either way.
Yeah, it's going to be close.
It's going to be close all the way.
Appleton got a bye in his first round. Then he beat Hart in round 2, Esposito round 3, Jason Klatt, as we alluded to earlier, in round 4 with a great comeback win. Then Dennis Haar in the last one, and brings him to this match here, round 6 in the winner's bracket.
Nicely struck break making 2 balls on the break. And he does have some sort of a shot on the 2, because the red 3 is hanging deeply, mind you, deeply in that corner pocket. This could be a little tricky here. He plays the billiard. He's got to make sure he controls that cue ball. And then he has to control the blue 2 ball as well. So therefore, you know, very tricky shot coming up here. I'm kind of curious to see exactly how he plays it.
Yeah, he'd like to play the combination, obviously, but as you said, it's very thin. Trying to play the billiard.
He
very
may be
careful.
He may be playing the combination, but it looks to me from this point, from our vantage point, awfully thin hit required to do that. I don't know if he can do that. A lot of hesitation, indecision out there, meaning that tough situation. This is going to be the shot that's going to tell who wins this rack. Oh, he says, I'm not going to fool with it. I'm going to do this. And I think he made a wise decision, because repositioning the cue ball behind the 4, he could have done that maybe 95 to 100% of the time. Playing the 2-3 combination or billiard, kind of iffy there. Played a good shot, very intelligent shot.
Darren Appleton was the MVP at the Moscone Cup last year, and I think you're going to see both of these gentlemen at the Moscone Cup this year, scheduled for the MGM Grand in December. And Johnny just weighing up roughly the path he wants the cue ball to take. He wants to put distance between these 2 balls.
And the key to this shot is the speed of the shot. He doesn't want to hit it too soft, and he doesn't want to hit it too hard, because if he hits the side, he hit it too hard. He hit that shot, but we don't want, he got paid off for hitting it hard.
Well, maybe.
Or did he? Oh my, I spoke too quickly. But do you agree? You don't hit that shot that hard. If you're going to hit the side of the 2, you want some distance, and you want the speed of the shot to lay where if you hit it with a certain speed, you get the distance, and you end up on the rail with the cue ball and possibly on the other rail with the 2 ball.
Yeah, basically, he left it to chance. He had to get lucky to get it safe, and in the end, what looked like it was a break briefly ends up being a bad break for Archer.
Yeah, he got lucky, and then he got unlucky. But once again, that's the way the game is. And especially if you shoot hard. You ever notice that if you play a player that always shoots hard, that crazy stuff happens all the time? This is an example of that. Now I think he's got to shoot hard. I think he's got to hit this hard. He's got to try to maybe bank the 5 cross corner. Maybe he can make the 2 cushions in the side. I mean, he's going to get some, but he has to shoot hard here. And you must draw this ball, by the way, because if you shoot it with a high ball, you go off the table. No, at that time he didn't shoot hard. I kind of like the 3-ball combination here, Jim. You don't want to run the risk of playing the billiard because the 3 is too deeply into that pocket. But it looks like the 2-4 is lined up reasonably well enough for him to play the 3-ball combination. Now he has to control both the 2-ball and the cue ball. That's the problem with this particular shot. Well, he doesn't have a shot other than the side or the lower corner. The 5-ball blocks the pocket that he wants to shoot the 2 in, so he's going to have to shoot it in another pocket, which either will be the side or the corner. I think he's going for the side here, Jim.
Yeah, right now, just standing behind the shot. And what that does is it just allows you to sight that point on the 2 that you want the cue ball to contact. That's what these players do when they look at that. Obviously, it's wide open. There's nothing obstructing the shot. This is just focusing your line of sight.
Let's see how he shoots it. So he's going down on the cue ball a little bit. He wants to hit before the side, and then he may try to choke it, but he don't like that. I don't like it either. I like traveling with the cue ball here. That increases the accuracy of the shot, and I think that's what he needs to do here. He has to travel with the cue ball here. That way the shot becomes a little easier to pocket. If he goes underneath the cue ball, now that makes the shot more difficult to pocket.
These are shots you play from memory as well.
See, I didn't like the way he played that. See, he tried to choke it. I like this going ahead and traveling with the cue ball going to the bottom cushion, and I think the pocket now plays larger. But he was fortunate not to leave Archer straight in the shot on the 2. But Archer still is thrilled to have this shot. He's got a very similar shot than the one that Appleton had just shot. And I look for him to hit this with a center ball and travel 2 cushions down table, then playing position for the either 5 either in the side or in the lower right-hand corner. But this is a tough shot, too, because he's going to have to go underneath with the cue ball. He's going to have to draw the cue ball a little bit, make sure he gets underneath the cue ball and hits that side cushion. See, he drawed it. See, that shot's a very deceiving shot. When you draw the cue ball, it makes that shot play a lot more difficult.
That's cruel, and Appleton has to suffer the fate of that.
Yeah, Archer suffered a little loss of dignity on the shot, but I'm certainly sure he'll take it. Huh?
He'd rather be apologizing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough one to take. And I'll tell you what, Darren, there were no prizes for guessing how he felt about it.
Well, you know what? Darren should say to himself, listen, I caused that myself. I missed the 2. I got what I deserved. That won't happen again.
And to stay just that odd rack in front, he needs this 9. And he gets it. The Scorpion, with a little bit of good luck on his side, stays 3-2 in front of Darren Appleton. But that fluke, that shot that Darren Appleton was probably half out of his chair, Billy. Let's have another look at it.
Oh, good. He missed it. Oh, what's going to happen? Is he going to make it in the side? Nah, probably not. That's my shot now. What happened there? No, what happened there? Huh? That's something like the pool guards had control of that.
That was one that they just pickpocketed Darren Appleton.
Wow. Yeah, it's pretty tough to go down like that, Darren. I sympathize with you. You know what? But I think you got enough in you to come back from that, don't you?
He is a bulldog, Billy, believe me. He's got a bulldog mentality, and that's why he is a tough competitor. Rack number 6, 3-2 the lead for Archer.
There's that break. Pocketing a ball on the break. It looks like he's going to come up with a shot on the 1. Where's the 2 ball? The 2 ball's across table in front of the 4. He can either play the 1 in the corner or the side. I look for him to play the 1 on the side, considering the position of the 2. The 3's in front of the corner pocket. The 4's near the rail where the 2 ball is. The 5 and 6 are together up at the other end of the table where he is standing over them. This is the shot of this rack, I do believe. Pocketing the 1. Playing position for the 2 looks like pretty natural, but he's got to pocket the 1, and that's the problem here. Tough shot. Not a very large pocket.
Day 6 of the 36th annual U.S. Open 9-ball championships. Since 1976, this event has been going strong. Mike Siegel won the inaugural event, only 16 entries then. This year, 250 from 20 countries.
Well, to win the U.S. Open today is such a more difficult task than it was years ago because you have the greatest players from all over the world. And unlike years ago, the Asian players and European players are the players that beat, where the American players were the players that beat years ago because we were the best players in the world. Not true today.
Well, very true. And Johnny nicely on the 2. He's got the 3 over the corner, the 4's there. This may be the first time that the person who broke will actually win the rack. And the crowd applauding. This could be for Larry Neville. I know this is a match, too, that's on the winner's side, and the handshake comes. Larry Neville, the truth, they call him, stays unbeaten.
Larry Neville has been a little bit of an underdog in all of his matches, but nevertheless, he's come through this tournament undefeated and obviously playing really well. Who we know sooner or later they're going to have to start making him a favorite.
And one of those favorites is at the table right now.
Well, he's one of the couple American players left in the tournament that has a legitimate shot at winning it. Neville, of course, does as well.
Shane Van Boning got beat. He is out. But what an international field we've still got.
But you have to have experience if you're going to win the U.S. Open. At least it helps a lot. Very, very rarely do we see someone come into the finals of the U.S. Open without the experience and win.
Oh, very true, Bill. 4-2, Archer's lead. And how big that lucky shot in the last rack will prove to be. How long Darren Appleton is going to have to stay in his chair when he was halfway out.
That's true, because since then he hasn't made an appearance at the table. And Archer broke the balls really well last time, indicating that, he may have found the sweet spot, and if he did, I got my work cut out for me. Well, no, he's not feeling too good about what happened, but like you said before, he's a real bulldog, and if anyone can come back, that man right there can do it.
Yeah, he's kind of muttering to himself right now, but he's got all those negative thoughts swirling in his head. He's got to get those out of there. There's a long ways to go in this match, Darren.
Archer feeling really good about what has transpired the last couple racks. Looks like he has a lot of energy right now.
Just seems like he's in a good place too, Billy, to me. And you'll see him just delicately place that cue ball down. Always in the same spot where he's enjoyed so much success with the break. Rack 7, 4-2 his lead.
Okay, there's the 1 on the side. He's going to come up with a shot on the 2. And once again, like you said before, Jim, that lucky shot on the 2 ball has proven to be quite costly. And it looks like it's going to cost him even more. 3 ball position under the side pocket, has a natural angle off the 2 to drop nicely for the 3. He'll keep an inside angle on the 3 to go cross table for the 4. Keep an angle on the 4 to go cross table for the 5. He would like the angle that he has right now on the 4, but obviously a little closer to the 4. But that's the angle that he wants, so he can go cross table for the 5.
Yeah, just back around the middle of the table's perfect. Draw this off that side cushion, Billy. Play the 5 bottom right.
Now he don't mind getting fairly straight on the 5 because he can play the 6 in the upper right hand corner. Now this angle here is a little steeper than I would like because now he has to deal with the 9. See, I like the little straighter angle on the 5, playing natural position for the 6 in the other corner. Now he's going to have to deal with the 9. This is not the angle that I would have liked to have. I think he's going to have to play to the outside of the 9 and take a tough shot on the 6 because the angle that he's left himself with is a pretty delicate angle here. Let's see how well he does with it. Notice all the indecision and hesitation out there. He's not comfortable with this angle. I wouldn't be either.
Played that with a lot of topspin to just try and cheat the angle a little bit.
And I like the way he played it because he didn't fool with the 9. He made sure he cleared the 9. Even though he had to end up with a longer shot on the 6, he's going to end up with a reasonably good shot on the 6.
Yeah, and with that topspin grabbing, it just got him a little straighter on the 6. But he's overhit this just slightly, but not too many problems here.
He's traveling a little bit more with the cue ball than he would like. But you know what? He's getting out. He's going to go 2 cushions here, pocketing the 8 in the upper left-hand corner, swinging 2 cushions, and finally ending up where he wants to, straight in on the 9, just about. So that was a very adventurous rack for Archer. But in the meantime, Appleton's still in the chair. He's got that smug on his face. He's not feeling really good about what's happening out there.
Billy, I think that's an understatement. 5-2. Archer quickly to the rack again, and Appleton, you know what's in his mind.
Well, he's sitting in that chair. He's saying, this is really, something that should have never happened. What an injustice. Really, what an injustice this is. Huh.
That's why I think pool is psychologically so tough to have to deal with. The sort of things that you see in a game of pool, in a match, you've got to fade that. That's why the Filipinos are so strong. They just seem to go with the flow. They never really take anything to heart.
It's going to happen to all of us at some point, okay? It's just unfortunate that it's happening in the U.S. Open on the winner's side. But you have to be able to, shrug it off and take care of business if given the opportunity. And I know that's a lot more difficult to do than said. But I still think he can do it. And there's that break again, Jim, making the corner ball in the break. And he's going to come. No, he's not going to come up with a shot on the 1. Darren Appleton may breathe a little easier now because Archer may have to leave the table.
Yeah, that wing ball every time now. I think Johnny has found the sweet spot.
5-2 in favor of Archer, but he doesn't have a shot. Appleton can't wait to get at that table to surmount this lead. Tough push here, too. He may have to push for a kick. It wouldn't be bad if he pushed for a kick here.
Now just looking at the left-hand cushion there. If he leaves a space between the 3 and the 6.
I think if he pushes toward the point of that side pocket in front of the pink 6, Appleton can't afford to have him kick that 1. I think that's what I would do. I would push toward the 6 ball near the point, give myself a kick on the 1. I think Appleton will take that kick, and there's no guarantee after pocketing the 1 that you're going to get a shot on the 2. But I don't think Appleton can afford to pass the shot up. Okay, now he pushed for a kick. So Appleton, this kick it's a little easier than the kick from the point. So Appleton, I look for Appleton to shoot this shot.
He'll try and clip this, though, Billy. Will he try and get this off 2 cushions?
Yeah, I think he's going to have to hit it with some speed. He's going to have to get some separation if he doesn't pocket the 1. Because the 2 ball is positioned in the back of the 8 and the 9. There's no guarantee for him to get shape on the 2 if he makes the 1. I think he's going to take the shot and hit it with some speed. 2 cushions. Cushion behind the 1, and then into the 1. It's very difficult for him to pass his shot up because he trails by 3 games, 5-2. And he doesn't want to, he wants to, but the way you really should look at this situation is this. Forget about the score. The score means nothing. 5-1, 8-0, it doesn't mean anything. You shoot the shot that gives you the best chance of winning the game, regardless of the score, because you only can win 1 game at a time. So whatever shot is the right shot to win this game, he should shoot. If it's the right to pass this shot, then he should pass it. The score means nothing here.
Well, I think he's passed it, so Archer's coming back to the table. Quite likely a quick sip of that Mountain Dew before he decides to go after this one.
I think he made a wise choice in passing this shot, Jim, simply because even if you pocket the 1, there's no guarantee you're going to get on the 2. So he probably said to himself, if I pocket the 1, I might go into the 3, then I'll really be in the trap.
I think that's why he passed it. It wasn't so much that getting the 1 was what was standing in his way. It's a tough kick, believe me, but I think both players will expect to get the 1 here, but whether or not they drop onto the 2, that's the second part of the equation that was up in doubt.
There's a possibility you can just roll this in, because if you roll it in real softly, then you have a shape on the 2. Maybe that's the best method to get out from here, by just softly rolling it in and taking your chances, because if you kick it and miss it, you figure to give up a shot anyways. So you might as well assure yourself of a shot on the 2 by rolling it in. So that's an option.
Makes sense.
That's an option.
That makes sense, though, because like you said, you figure to give a shot up if you don't make it anyway. So you might as well give yourself the best chance to win the rack.
Because if you hit it with some speed, I think the chances of you ending up behind a 3 are more than if you would roll it in. I think you have a better chance of getting out.
Well, Darren Appleton did the right thing.
He certainly did. Now he has his chance.
The end justifies the means, and now the chance arrives for Appleton. He's 3 racks adrift of Archer.
He doesn't want to travel up much with the cue ball here, because he got to play field goal position, if you will, in between the 8 and the 9. And he has to assure himself of a shot on the 2. And then do that, he has to travel as little as possible. And that's what he's done. Once they get past the 9, he got past it, but not by much. But he got past it. Now the 5 is positioned closer to the right-hand corner than it is to the left-hand corner. So after pocketing the 3, he would like to play position on the 4 to go cross table and play the 5 in the upper left-hand corner. Now we want to get straight on the 4 and play position for the 5 in the lower right-hand corner. Maybe he had just too much angle on the 3 to softly roll it in and hold for position. He can choke it or he can go cross table. He opted to choke it a little bit, left himself fairly thin on the 5. Now he may have to do a little more traveling. He may have to go down table and back toward the 6. He doesn't want to end up real straight on this. He seems comfortable, no hesitation. He's got great technique.
You notice his cue, the way it went straight through after he struck that cue ball?
Yeah. He hits that cue ball so accurately.
I mean, look at that cue tip. Follow straight through on the intended line.
So he's going to narrow the gap here within 2 games, 5 games to 3.
Yeah, that was a much-needed rack win for Darren Appleton. If nothing else, gives him a chance to forget about that lucky shot from Archer back in the 5th rack.
Yeah, he's back in the saddle again. Now he has to pocket a ball on the break. He can ill afford to not pocket a ball on the break, come up dry, trailing by 2 games, because, you know, you have to be able to surmount the lead, and you have to be able to make balls on a break. That's the only way you can do it. You can't do it by expecting to win 1 game at a time. You got to string some racks.
And we just heard that Warren Kiamko, Rodney Morris, 10-10, Billy, Hill, and it looks like Kiamko is going to be breaking in the 21st rack over there. We'll keep you posted. As Appleton looking to try and stay at the table now for a while. And does he have a shot at the 1? I think the 1 will go past the 5 into the corner. This isn't bad.
And the 2 balls to the left of the 1, the 3 balls on the rail. So he's going to have to get pretty good on the 2 here to get position for the 3. Because if he gets a bad angle and the 4 may come into play, he's got to get pretty good on the 2 here. He's got to pocket the 1 and get good on the 2. He would like to end up straight in on the 2 in the same pocket that he pockets the 1 in. Unless it'll go in the other pocket, the lower left hand. I doubt that, though. He wants to be straight in just about. Well, this will suffice. Now he can clear the 6, make sure he can clear the... I don't know. Do you go forward here? Does he have the angle to go forward in the cross table, or can he draw it?
Well, you know what? I think if he ends up drawing it, he'll have to draw it off 2 cushions. Back over for the 3. Forward will work. That side pocket wasn't in the way.
Yeah, you have to like the way the balls are positioned from here. And he's got through the problem part of the rack. Now he has to make sure he stays focused, because he really can't afford to do anything carelessly here. He's narrowing that gap. 5 to the 6 is his always thoughts are on the 5 to the 6 now. Where do I need to get on the 5? 2 cushions, maybe to the 6 in the same pocket he pocket the 4 or pop the other side. I like playing position for the 6 in the corner. And he's not doing that. He's going to play in the side. And he doesn't want to get straight here. He did get straight, but he certainly made a nice stroke to get away from it. Nice. He's comfortable. He's playing nice.
Yeah, both of these guys look like they brought their A game to the ACCUSTATS arena here. And 5-4 is the score. 2 in a row for Darren Appleton. Still 5-4 in favor of Archer, but Appleton will have the break in rack number 10.
Yeah, this is a real dogfight here. Exactly what we thought it would be before the match started. I gave Archer a slight edge, I thought, because of his break, but it seems like Appleton's opening up the balls nicely as well. So that sort of like levels that off.
Warren Kiamko with ball in hand in that deciding rack with Rodney Morris. And difficult to tell exactly what the placement of the balls is, as Darren Appleton winds up for rack number 10. And didn't get the wing ball that time, but the 1 into the corner pocket.
And he's got a shot on the 2, I believe. Yes, he does. The 3 ball positioned behind the 9 or under the 9. That's going to be the problem from the 2 to the 3. He's got to hit this accurately. The cue ball's got to come down table in between the 8 and the 9. This is a very difficult shot. Position on the 3 is not easy at all. This is the shot that's going to determine who wins this rack. Yeah, this is a tough shot, Mr. Appleton. I don't blame you for taking your time.
There's Mountain Dew in behind Johnny Archer. Boy, he drinks a lot of that. And Pepsi Bottling Company, one of our sponsors at the U.S. Open this year. Johnny should be getting an endorsement deal from Pepsi.
Yeah.
Mountain Dew is a Pepsi product.
Center ball. Is he going to the right of the 8? No, he's going to. Well, oh, this is a tough shot here. He's going to end up. I don't know.
Well, he's not going to be snookered.
I don't know. I don't think he really likes it all that much. But it's workable.
And in fact, Warren Kamko did beat Rodney Morris in that deciding rack. He moves on. Morris finishes 13 to 16th out of 250. Not a bad showing, but you know the Rocket would have expected better.
Well, with the caliber of players and as many as they are in this tournament, finishing 13th is really an accomplishment. He's playing the safety here. Once he get behind the 6. Nicely executed shot. Oh, but it may have leaked out just a little bit. And I do believe, I don't know, can he hit the edge of the red 3?
You might be able to just softly spin around that and around the 6 and hit the 3. It's very close though, Billy, very close. But just a soft masse, I think will suffice, or just jump over the edge of the 6.
I like what you're trying to explain is the soft masse. I like that because I think it sort of like gives you a chance to walk away from the table in not too bad a shape. Because I think after contacting the 3, if you miss it, the 3 goes to the side rail, and then the cue ball may go toward the 6 or perhaps even behind the 6. Let's take a look at the table and the layout of the balls. See, if you cut the 3 goes to the side rail and the bottom of the side rail, and the cue ball may go behind the 4 ball. Now he's going to jump over this. I don't know if I would do that, but of course he's at the table. He has a much better feel of the shot. He's opting to use his jump stick here. Now he may pocket the 5 on a billiard here. Now he was able to reposition the 3 at the other end of the table, creating a lot of distance between the cue ball and the 3 ball. Now Appleton does have a shot on the 3. Difficult shot, and also position on the 4 isn't going to be easy if he pockets the 3. A lot of work here.
And Antonio Linning looks like he's got a lead over Darrell Peach, former world 9-ball champion Darrell Peach. And looks like a good containing shot from Darren Appleton there.
I don't think he got there, Jim. I think he's left Archer a shot.
You know what, Billy? As the camera swings around, we get a better look at it, and you're absolutely right. This is a wide open shot at the 3.
This is a type of a shot you really have to put down. It's a demanding shot. It's not an easy shot by any means, but you really feel good if you put a shot like this down. It bodes well for your confidence, and it builds it up really, really well. This is the type of a shot that does it. You know, when you make tough shots in tough situations, it's so good for your confidence.
Yeah. In the end, it was a poor safety from Darren Appleton, and he just put his cue down. Again, Darren isn't one to hide his emotion.
No.
I'll tell you a little story. When I was commentating the World English 8-Ball Championships, he was just beaten in the final by a very good snooker player, top 5 in the world professional snooker player who was playing in the tournament, Mark Selby. This was like an actual interview that was taped for TV. He came to the table and just booted it right in front of everybody.
That's no, he doesn't restrain himself well in certain times. Watch out! Watch out! You don't want to get over the 9 here. This will work. Wants a little relief from that side rail. He doesn't really want to elevate. He wants to hit this shot with a level stroke, increasing the accuracy of the shot, carries natural position.
I think one of the things that's been characteristic in Archer's career is he doesn't miss a lot of easy balls. And it might have been you and I, or possibly even Danny and I, but you were within earshot, Billy, and we were talking about the players of your era. The good players, the great players, never missed easy balls, did they?
Well, that's the key of winning. The key to winning is that never miss easy shots. Never miss balls that you're supposed to make. Never get careless. And when you do that, that means you stay focused. You know, and when you stay focused and you have that concentration, you're going to do well. And by bearing down, if you will, on the easy shots, makes the tougher shots easier too.
Well, kind of halfway here. He's going to play the 8 in the corner. Just slightly overdrew that, or underdrew it, depending on which pocket he intended with the 8. And he's going to have a tricky 9 as well, but one he would expect to get.
Well, that's okay. It's a fair trade-off because he hit the 8 with the speed that gave him the most accuracy. So he'll take this, which he pockets it nicely.
And take it he does. Once again, 2 racks in front, 6-4. And the Scorpion looking to stay unbeaten in the 36th U.S. Open 9-ball championship here in Chesapeake.
Darren's talking to himself, saying, why couldn't I have just held that cue ball a little bit better than I did when I played my safety?
Well, the good news is at least he's got something else to talk to himself about instead of that lucky 2 that Archer had in the 5th rack. So he's moving on.
So what is worse? Tell me the truth, okay? When you blunder and leave a shot, or when someone gets lucky and it costs you, what would you rather talk to yourself about?
You know what? I'd far rather have a guy get lucky and have me in my chair. If I feel like I'm the one that brought him there, then I punish myself
true.
worse.
That's true.
Rack number 11. And Archer doing a little greenskeeping. Again, one of his characteristics. 6-4 his lead. Didn't get the wing ball.
No, he didn't.
The 2 is tracking up towards the corner, but it's not there.
And is he going to have a shot on the combination? I think he does.
It's close, Billy. It's very close.
I think he has a shot. He's taking a good look at it now. Now he's walking up. I think he's got a shot. He doesn't seem like disgruntled or, unhappy, which is certainly is an indication, knowing him, that he must have a shot.
He wears his heart on his shirt sleeve, Darren Appleton, so.
You have a shot, Darren. Let's see if you can take care of business now.
A fierce competitor.
Nice.
In that English 8-ball that Darren played prior to coming over and taking his hand to 9-ball, he was a champion in that game too, as you would. No surprises there.
This is tricky. 1 to the 3, very tricky. Very tricky. Wow, narrowly missing the 6, but that's what he had to do. He had to come very closely to the 6 in order to gain the position that he's ended up with. Nicely executed shot. 4-ball position to the right of the 3. 5 in front of the side pocket. He wants if he has a little angle, he'll draw it. If he doesn't, he'll follow it. It looks like it's kind of awkward. He's getting up off the shot. Not happy with it when you get down and you get back up off the shot, though he's going underneath the cue ball. Nicely struck. He can go for the side or the corner. He'll probably go for the side here. 7-ball position in front of the side pocket. Nice key position off the 7 to the 8. It's in a nice position. The lead now is by 2 games. He's looking to narrow it to 1. I like his chances.
contingent of 7 players from the UK came over this year. By far the strongest representation they've ever had. The likes of Appleton here, Chris Melling, Daryl Peach we already noted, Mark Gray, Carl Boys.
He's a
As he
player.
deposits the 9. And drew one back. Still 6-5 in favor of Archer. And now it's Darren Appleton's turn to take a break. He owns the table. Perfectly legitimate.
And he's feeling a lot better now than he did when the score was 5-2. And he was sitting in the chair, Archer breaking the balls.
6-5. The score in favor of Johnny Archer. Dynamite Darren Appleton at the table. Wing ball down.
Watch the cue ball here.
1 ball down. Cue ball tracking towards that corner. Not much on offer for the 2.
There are 3 balls congested near the lower right-hand corner pocket. The 3, the 4, and the 5. And I don't know how much of the pocket the 5 blocks off if it makes that possible 3-4 combination play a little more difficult. But it certainly isn't easy. And it certainly isn't easy pocketing the 2 from this position either. He may have to bank it. But do you go for the bank? Do you play some sort of a safety? What do you do? These are decisions that may make the difference in the match right here. You would like to bank it and run out here. If you do that, you'll be pumped. But you don't like the bank because it's not the kind of a percentage of a shot that you would like it to be. So it's a big decision coming up for Appleton here.
Well, and as our good friend Danny would say, do you really want to bet the game on this shot? Because looking at the balls, that's what you're doing. If you decide to bank it.
He's going for the side, which was also an option that we didn't discuss.
Great shot.
But once again, now we come to the 3, 4, and the 5. Now the 5 blocks off a portion of the pocket. And this combination may be, even though it appears quite easy, may not be that easy because of the position of the 5. Let's keep this shot right here because this is a shot that I want to take a look at after he contacts the balls. And we're going to see what happens here. Okay, well, he was just able to put that 3 down, avoiding the contacting on the 5. Once again, coming up with a very difficult shot and a choice of pockets.
Yeah, this a lot trickier as Billy explained it than it really looked, and Darren couldn't have played it much better.
Narrowly making, I should say. Was he going to play a safety here, or is he going to play the ball? He played the ball. And the safety. All right. The 5 in the corner, the 6 in the adjacent corner, the 7 obviously in the upper left-hand corner. This match looks like it's going to be tied up. And if we can get a picture of Archer after Appleton runs these balls, if he does, I'd like to see how he's looking and feeling right now.
And applause from one of the outside tables. We'll see if we can find out who that was. But he obviously brought some fans with him.
This will tie up the match.
And it does.
Congratulations, Sean. You move ahead to the final 4.
Sean Putnam, a big win there.
We'll be back a little later this evening.
There's Archer. He's getting a little
uneasy in his chair now. He's just lost the
there.
last 2 racks, 6 apiece.
He doesn't have that luxury of a 3-game lead anymore. It's all evened out, 6 games apiece. So he's going to have to get back to the table and do what champions do.
Well, we know that Sean Putnam is through in the winner's bracket. We know that Larry Neville is through in the winner's bracket. I believe Alex Pagulayan won his match.
Pagulayan is really playing
and
exceptionally
he is through.
well.
So the winner here will make up the last 4 on the winner's bracket. The wing ball down.
And once again,
a shot at the 1.
2-ball position underneath the 3 slightly to the left of the 9. It's going to be a a little bit of a problem attaining a shot on the 2. And not much room for error here.
Might leave himself long distance. Billy, instead of trying to get close to the 2, you can see that window between the 5 and the 3. Get the cue ball just back out towards the middle of the table and will leave that window.
Certainly an option to consider. Why travel a lot with the cue ball when your window for position is small? So therefore, maybe we can just cut the 1 in and take a long shot on the 2. You know? But the most importantly, we must stay at the table. And I think that's the best way to stay at the table is assure yourself a shot on the 2.
Oh,
not like this. Not like this. Oh my, not like this. That small window maybe was the best way to play it. Just like Jim said, just roll the 1 in and take a longer shot on the 2. Now from our vantage point, I don't know how much of a how difficult of a shot he would have had on the 2 had he done that. So he didn't like it. He opted to run with the cue ball a little bit and ended up behind the 5.
And now he's going to be kicking this off 2 cushions, and he's going to have to try and get it safe.
Yeah, well, at least he didn't scratch in the side because he was tracking right toward the side.
Yeah, worth another look, I think, that one. He was trying to spin it all around.
He tried to get behind, behind the 5 here.
And you know he is lucky, in fairness, as much as he doesn't like what welcomes him. But that side pocket, the way that he played that was always in the equation.
Yeah, it was a tough shot getting position from the 1 to the 2, unless you would have played it like you suggested. Just roll the 1 in and accept the longer shot on the 2. That way you assure yourself a shot on the 2 and stay somewhat in control of the table.
Yeah, he's looking at the 1 cushion escape.
So the 2 cushion escape is questionable because you may hit the 2 into the 3 and end up, you can't really control the 2. I don't know. I don't think he's going to end up in good shape after this shot, no matter which way how he plays it. He's not the favorite for sure from here on this game. He's going to have to hit it with some speed. He would like to hit it square in the face and maybe get very little movement with the cue ball and a lot more with the 2. So if he hits the square in the face, the 2 ball will go 2 cushions, possibly up table, and the cue ball won't travel much. Something like that, but he missed the, he didn't hit it well enough to get up table with the 2. Does Archer have a shot in the upper left-hand corner? Does the 4 preclude him from shooting that shot in that pocket?
Well, if he does, that's going to be the shot he's going to favor. If not, he's got the top right corner, but either way, he'll be attacking here.
If the upper left-hand corner pocket is open, then what he'll do, I believe he has the angle to do this. I believe he can draw the cue ball to the side rail in front of the side and back out slightly.
Tricky little shot, though.
He's going to make sure he strokes it well enough not to go into the side. If, in fact, he has a shot, which I think he does. And he can't hit it too hard because he may end up behind a 4. So it's a type of a stroke that he has to pull out of his bag. And I know that he has. It's not a type of a stroke that you shoot often, but let's take a look and see how well he does with it. A lot of concentration out there, a lot of attention to this shot. Nicely stroked. And Archer is definitely glad he's gotten away with that shot, even though he hit it perfectly. Tough shot. That was a tough shot.
And now the angle on the 5 is very important where the 7 is.
I do believe the 9 ball is far enough away from the 7 to where he can go just cross table and play the 7 in the lower left-hand corner. He would like to play the 7 in the upper right-hand corner, but I don't really see much of an angle for him to do that off the 5 unless it gets sort of like straight. I don't think he wants to do that. Maybe he does. Now he can do either here. I think he can draw it past the side from the position he's ended up in, but maybe not. Now he's taking a look at the other shot with the 7 in the upper left-hand corner. But he has to make sure he stays away from the 9. He can't go cross table too far to where it gets behind the 9. He knows that, but in knowing that may create problems in his head on this shot. He would like to play position for the 7 in the other corner, but maybe he doesn't have the luxury to do that. Nice speed. Nice speed. Even though it appears that it's a touchy shot, I think he ended up exactly where he wanted. One cushion toward the 8, softly struck. Score 6-6, Jim, and looks like he may go out in front once again. He seems really comfortable. I like the way he's playing, but of course I like the way they're both playing. This is the type of a match that people enjoy watching, I mean, you really like to watch two players playing at their best and showing that courage and,
Well, mistakes have really been few and far between, certainly in the latter stages of this match. I mean, half chances have been capitalized on.
Yeah, they have such unwillingness to bend here. They're just playing great. I love the watch pool when it's played at this level.
There you see the 7-6 in favor of Johnny Archer. The Scorpion from Atlanta, Georgia. He owns a club in Marietta.
Is there any chance that are there stats on this match? No?
I can give you some breaking stats.
No, okay.
Archer's broken dry 4 times in this match.
How about Appleton? He's broken the balls 5 or 6 times.
Appleton has broken and made a ball every time he's broken. He's had no dry breaks.
And
amazing how Johnny would be in front knowing that statistic.
In spite of that, the Archer's ahead 7-6. And he's not breaking as well as Appleton. But he certainly is running out as well.
Again, delicately placing that cue ball like a butterfly with sore feet. He places that cue ball down.
A butterfly with sore feet. Ooh. Here we go. 2 ball? No, nothing.
Well,
nothing.
That's his 5th dry break.
He's dry again. I think he better consider switching sides or doing something a little bit different. He's not really happy, coming up dry as frequently as he has.
Yeah, he's a lot less happy with the fact that he's given Darren Appleton a chance at the 1. If he's going to break dry, a couple times when he did break dry, he didn't give Darren anything. This time he did.
And the balls aren't really laying that poorly. I mean, I think the balls are laying pretty nice now. 3 to the 4. The 4's behind, or on the left side behind the 6 and the 7, up table.
Yeah, the 6 is probably the only tricky ball.
I think he can play the billiard 6-7 and play the 6 in the lower left-hand corner. Well, maybe the 6 is a little too high for the billiard. But he can pocket the 6 in the lower left-hand corner, or he can possibly play the 6-7 combination in the side. That's also an option. I don't mean to get too far ahead here. It looks like he has a natural angle off the 3 to fall nicely for the 4. All he'll do is hit it with a high ball.
Just looking at that, Antonio Linning and Daryl Peach. It looks like 6-5. I'm not sure who's in front there.
I didn't think he needed to do that. I thought that he could roll the 3 in and play position for this 4. But that's not the way he saw it. And now he's gotten himself a little out of line here, Jim. Now he's going to have to do a little extra traveling with the cue ball, and now speed becomes very crucial. It's very important for him to hit it with the correct speed now, and he's going underneath the cue ball. Little side spin. And that'll suffice because now he'll have a possible 6-7 combination, which I think he's going to be forced to play position for. He's going to have to deal with the 9 as well. So he's got the angle on the 5 that suggests to me the cue ball's going toward the 9. You know, he doesn't want to really clip the 9 and end up in the corner pocket with the cue ball. That's a possibility. So what do you do here?
You know, this is both of these players' second match on this TV table in the ACCUSTATS arena. And as the tournament winds down, we're in our second to last day. It becomes a little more significant getting these matches under your belt on this table because you know this is the only table that's going to be in use tomorrow. Getting a feel for the conditions, the way this table plays, because none of these tables break the same.
Yeah, like I felt, that 9 ball was certainly a burden here. It's a thorn in his side, actually, because he knows that cue ball is going to be going toward that 9. He would like to hit it underneath the cue ball, and in doing that, you know, he wants to end up with a shot on the 6-7 combination too. And he's going to go 3 rails possibly here, play with 6 in the corner. It's going to come up short again here. And like I said, that billiard may be available. I'm not sure. He's got to call the tournament director over, take a look at this hit. I would if I was Archer. This is going to be a close hit here.
I would certainly like that cue ball to have traveled just a little bit further, Bill.
Yes, I would have too if I was him. Can we get an overhead look at this? Is that possible? So it looks like he's got enough room to where the hit won't be questionable. And I don't believe the billiard is a possibility either, looking at it from this angle. So let's just take a look at it from here and see. This is a pretty good angle to look at it. The billiard was a possibility, and it almost made it, but he did make the 6. He hit it with good pocket speed.
I can also tell you that Naoki Oi from Japan and Dennis Hatch have kicked off their match. That's in the losers bracket. So no more insurance policies there.
Well, it looks like this match is going to be tied up once again, Jim.
We expected it to go right down to the wire. Well, it's living up to advanced billing. 7s are wild here in Chesapeake. And the dry break from Johnny Archer, allowing dynamite Darren Appleton to square up the score.
I like the way Archer's looking right now. I mean, he's concentrating. It doesn't seem like he's nervous. Seems like he's just
focused,
patiently waiting for his opportunity. You know, yeah, very, you know. He's looking to see if the balls are straight up and down, or the rack's not tilted, which would favor maybe the wing ball going in. Took a look, a slight look to see if the balls were all frozen.
Rack 15, 7 apiece.
There's the wing ball. You know, he's getting the wing ball and Archer is not. Now, why is that? I mean, why does one person get the wing ball and yet the other one doesn't? And they break them from the relatively the same position on the table with just about the same speed. Well, I just don't understand that.
The subtleties of the break. It's been a mystery, Billy. If anyone could figure out the break, it'd be a marketable commodity.
I'll tell you a player that really studies the break was
Corey Deuel, absolutely.
You know, and he just figures it out. You know, the speed of the break is so important. The angle that you put the cue ball in relation to the one ball is also important.
Well, Darren's got a tricky shot here on the 2. Nothing easy. You know, you talk about Archer being very focused, and you hear a lot about players being in the zone. You know, when they're in the zone, it's really that mix, that blend of concentration and composure, and that allows a player to just be relaxed and in the moment.
He has an option here. He can either play the 2 on the side, which there's not much pocket there, or he can bank the 2 toward the 5 and reposition the cue ball behind the 3-8 and play a safety. I think those are the two options that I see. Cutting the 2 on the side, I really wouldn't want to shoot that shot. The side pocket is very, very small.
Yeah, he's looking at it. If for no other reason, Bill, I think he's hoping that he can drop that cue ball behind the 3 and the 8, should he miss it.
This is a tough shot, and the 2 ball, if it hits that point, will come back and possibly give up a shot.
That's the danger.
You know, but by banking the 2 toward that orange 5 and repositioning the cue ball behind the 3, I think he can do that a good 90% of the time. Cutting the 2 on the side, I don't know. I don't like that shot. Yeah, that's what he did. He actually didn't bank it toward the 5, but he played the cue ball behind the 3. I thought it was an intelligent shot. Why take a chance of shooting into a pocket that really isn't a pocket?
And Johnny's got his short cue out, so it tells you he's going to be going airborne here.
Johnny is very adept at using the jump cue. The last time he used it, on the 3 ball, he got away with it, left Appleton a long shot on the 3 that Appleton sold out with. And so, but the point is that Johnny is very adept with the jump cue. I look for him to do well considering the position that he's in. How well, I don't know, because tough position to be in.
Looking to put some distance between the cue ball and the 2.
No, he's not going to get away with it. He's going to leave him straight in on the 2, but not real close to the 2, but very makeable. Johnny's not really happy with the results, but what are you going to do? He was parked behind the 3, jumped over the balls, and wasn't able to get away with it. But Appleton has to perform here. This isn't a gimme. Beautifully struck. Center pocket. 4 ball and 5 ball on adjacent rails. Keep an angle on the 4 to go cross table for the 5. Has Appleton ever been in the lead in this match, Jim?
Maybe not till now, Bill, because Archer started it out. Archer led 2-1. Then Johnny was 5-2 in front. And that's the biggest lead that he has enjoyed. But this is Darren's first chance to get his nose in front in this match, and you really can't see him failing.
Yeah, it's a good feeling to be the lead dog. But staying there is another thing. Let's see if Appleton can stay there. He certainly has fought his way back after trailing 5-2. He wasn't feeling really good about his position at that time, but he certainly is now.
Well, he sat in his chair and stewed when Johnny got lucky in the 5th rack and ended up going into a 5-2 lead because of that break. But his time has come. And Darren Appleton now 8-7 in front.
And Archer hasn't done anything wrong.
Yeah, good point. That's just the standard of this match. Mistakes have been at a premium, and yet that'll be small consolation to whoever loses this match.
Yeah. Oh, so what? I played great. You know what? Meantime, I'm on the loser side. I got to face 80 giants. You know, big deal. I played a flawless match. How'd I lose? Tell me, how'd I lose? Only could happen to me. Yeah.
Slides that bead over, rack number 16.
That corner ball's been going in now, just about every rack that he's broken them. That's the 8 ball. Watch the 8 ball. Why is it going for him and not for Archer? I don't understand that. And the 1 ball, if you notice, continually goes toward that pocket.
This is,
one cushion toward the pocket.
This is exactly what Johnny Archer was doing to Antonio Linning. Carbon copy of this. He was getting that wing ball and controlling that one to the same corner.
When you really take a fair look at this match and how the balls are breaking for both players, it's hard for me to believe that Archer has any chance in this match, because he's been coming up dry, and on the other hand, Appleton has been making the wing ball playing position.
4 at the same end of the table. 5, 6, 7, made the 8 off the break. And it'll be a glaring mistake if he doesn't run out these remaining balls.
Is it just by chance that you find the sweet spot on the break, and then if you find it, you just grab hold of it, or do you really know what you're doing?
I think these players are so intelligent today. They really do study what happens. I think they've got a good feel for, the speed. How else can you explain it, Bill? I mean,
you're saying that Appleton's more intelligent than Archer because he's found it and Archer hasn't. What are you trying to say, Jim?
You're trying to drop me in it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Then why did Archer find it the last time he played in this table? He can't get it now. Remember when he ran all those racks?
It's not his turn to be intelligent.
Oh, I see.
It's the guys at the table's turn to be intelligent.
You run out of intelligent time? Time expired. And time's expiring on Archer in this match, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Darren has hit another gear in this one.
And Archer still hasn't done anything wrong, Jim. If we were keeping stats in this match, I wouldn't be surprised to see Archer have a higher stat than Appleton.
No, you're right.
But in spite of that, he's trailing by 2 games.
But all those early mistakes, if you want to call them mistakes from Darren Appleton, mean nothing now. It's more about how you finish the match than how you start it. And he's 9-7 in front of Archer. And making a bid to get to the hill as he breaks in rack number 18. Rack number 17, pardon me.
Archer in his chair probably saying to himself, hey, what does a man have to do? Really, what does a man have to do to get what he's entitled to?
Stay positive.
Okay.
Stay positive.
That's
Wait
the
for your
answer,
chance.
huh?
And you know something?
So I played a perfect match, so I lost. What about it?
If you lose this match, stay positive for your next one.
And you know what? He will have a next one. You're right. Again.
There's the wing ball, the 1.
And he's going to get a shot. Maybe not.
That 2 might go. Looks like it just passes into the corner pocket. 8 and the 1. That time off the break. Yeah, this is tricky, though. He's going to have a look at this. The 2 does go in the corner, but position isn't guaranteed.
The pocket? Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
The natural angle's taking the cue ball away from the 3.
And that's exactly what I thought. I was looking at it the same way. If he pockets the 2, he's going away from the 3. What do? Maybe you play a safety. Maybe you go all out and reposition the cue ball behind the 9-6 off the 2.
I like that choice. I like that choice, and Darren is a player that does tend to favor percentages.
And since he's the more intelligent one at the table right now, I think he'll play an intelligent shot. I mean, that's what you said, right? No, I'm just having fun.
Really teases me.
There's no question about it. Archer is one of the most intelligent players in the world when he's at the table. It just so happens that the pool guards aren't on his side right now.
Just so happens.
That's just the way it is.
He's not at the table.
That's funny.
There's our pal. Came into the commentary box with us.
Oh, he's going after it, Jim.
Well, he made it. Has he left himself a long shot at the 3?
He's got a shot at the 3. He applied a little inside English on the cue ball to stay away from the 6 after hitting that side rail. And now he's got a shot on the 3. The 4 ball's positioned to the right of the foot spot. And the 8-ball may be in the path of the cue where the cue ball is going to be taken. So he's got some problems right here.
Would you say that shows a lot of confidence, though, Billy, to be able to take a shot like that on when you know you're leaving a long 3 and the 2 is a tough shot to begin with?
Well, I don't think he lacks confidence right now. He has shown us, up to this point that he's playing extremely well. And we spoke too soon. He tried to go around the 8, and in doing so, he missed the 3.
He's human.
I think that's the first ball he's missed in a long, long while. And an Archer, I don't remember the last ball he missed.
Well, Johnny knows that there haven't been many chances that have come his way. That is a mistake.
And just maybe the opportunity that he was hoping that he would get, he'll do good with and come closer to tying up this match, because he has certainly been playing extremely well up until this point. Let's see what he has left. Watch out. Watch the 8. Had he hit the 8 going in, he may have ended up behind it.
Yeah, meanwhile, it touched the 8 and left it perfect.
Well, you know what? He's entitled to that. Maybe he'll get more intelligence because of that.
He's growing.
He doesn't want to end up straight. He wants an angle that'll favor the cutting the 5s to his left. That way he'll play position for the 6 in the lower left-hand corner. Now, if he has to draw it straight back, now speed becomes more crucial. But, he hits that shot so nicely, so well at that intermediate draw where you have to draw a little cue ball 3 feet or so, 2.5 feet. That's a very tough shot, especially if you draw it too far. You got problems. He hits that shot really well.
You get the feeling there's another chapter to be read
and
written in this one yet, Bill?
Well, you know what? I mean, we thought from the beginning this would be a sharply contested match, and it has been. Even though Appleton fell behind by 3 games, 5-2, he was able to get back into the match and then take the lead 9 games to 7. Now it's Archer's turn, so he's narrowing the gap 9-8. But the problem Archer's had in the match is off the break. He hasn't been able to pocket balls on the break.
Well, it's been a while. He's had a chance to see Appleton's break, and I think Johnny is going to take a break of his own. A little different break. Quick sip of that Mountain Dew and out of the ACCUSTATS arena.
Okay, here we go.
All right, Johnny is back in the arena now, the ACCUSTATS arena. 8-7. Make that 9-8 is the score.
How can you not like this match after 17 games?
You'll be moving that bead over. 9-8 confirmed.
Yeah, after 17 games, it's as close as it can get, 9-8. And both of these players have played really superbly. I really have enjoyed watching the play in this match.
And with the break, he's hoping to plant Darren Appleton back in his chair for a while here.
He's got to do something differently with the break, Jim. He hasn't been able to pocket a ball on the break. He sees Appleton breaking from this side of the table, so he can't go away from this side of the table because of the success that Appleton's got. There's the corner ball finally, and the 1 on the side. Is he going to come up with a shot on the 2? Kind of, but not really.
That's exactly what Darren Appleton's been doing, though. He's got that 1 on the side, that wing ball in the corner, so he was paying attention while he was in his chair.
But most importantly, he has control of the table, Archer that is. If he opts to play some sort of a safety, okay, at least he'll have some control of his destiny here. He can reposition the cue ball possibly behind the 6 and 9. He may be able to cut the 2 in. Big decision right here because it's getting pretty late in the match, 9-8. Every decision now is paramount, very big.
He's looking at the 2 near that side pocket, possibly for a safety if he doesn't get it.
Very difficult shot. Oh, he played all-out safety here, trying to reposition the 2 behind the 9-6 and the cue ball behind the 4. He wasn't able to snooker him. He left him a shot on the 2. Not a shot, but he left him the ability to hit the 2. And now let's see how well Appleton does with it.
Yeah, he's got that gap between the 6 and the 9, but I don't know whether he can contact the edge of the 2 on either side to be able to run away with the cue ball. Doesn't look like it, Billy, so this is going to be a tricky little shot here.
Yeah, he's got to hit this really well to walk away with the snooker here. He's going to probably try to place the 2 ball somewhere around the 3 in hopes that the 3 blocks the pocket, but I don't think it's going to. Maybe it did. But if you were close to the 2, you might be able to make it. But from this distance, it'd be foolish to even try to attempt to make it. So what do you do if you're Archer from this position?
Possibility, if he wants to take the aggressive path of a billiard, thin clip on the 2 to try and make the 3 in the corner. Very risky shot, high risk. He's looking at it, but you really can't see him taking that.
Why not? I mean, what does he have? I mean, he doesn't have a safety. He really doesn't have a safety.
So you like him to play the billiard?
I like for him to play something here, a billiard, or maybe even try to roll the 2 in. But I like for him to try to pocket a ball from this position because the safety, I think, is more difficult than the billiard. So go ahead, that's what I would do. I'd play the billiard here because he's in a tough spot, and this is the type of a situation that demands, okay, that you do whatever you do it well. He doesn't have a safety, so go for the billiard.
And we're definitely at the business end of this match, so everything, every mistake, every great shot, magnified.
And you said he was an intelligent player when he was at the table, right? Let's see if you were right.
Well, he tried the billiard, but it was never going to be an easy one, and if he hasn't left a thin cut, he's certainly left a bank on the 2.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to fault him for doing what he did, even though he wasn't successful, okay? I thought that he gave himself a chance to win, and I really have to applaud him for that because playing a safety in that position was a certain failure. I like that he gave himself a chance. He didn't do well with it, but he was,
You know, Billy, you came with a statement there that it is something that I've always played by. If the safety is no more difficult, you might as well attack. And he had no easy safety there,
no, he didn't
so he
even
might as well
have
try
a
and win
safety.
the game.
Yeah, he didn't have a safety. The billiards was by far the better of the 2 shots. He gave himself a chance at least, and it didn't work out for him that time. But if he continues thinking like that, he's going to end up a winner. Appleton leads by 1 game, 9-8. It's getting real late in this match. If he's able to run out here, Jim, he's going to find himself on the hill, 10-8. This is a little tricky here because he has to cut the 3. He's not really laying in the pocket, and he wants to hold the cue ball for the 4, and he would like to get on top of the 4 because of the position of the 5. See, he would like to be somewhere where he is now with the cue ball or straight in on the 4, and I don't think he can get there from the position that he's in relation to the 3.
Tell you what, though, Darren Appleton, if he does win this match, he'll be in the last 4 in the winner's bracket. And for a guy who's here defending the title and looking to get into the history books with both Nick Varner and Mika Immonen, what a strong showing this is.
Okay, now he's ended up in a little tough spot here on the 4. He doesn't have the angle that he wanted to end up with, so he's going to have to manufacture something here. It looks like the cue ball was going to go toward the 9, so he's going to have to figure out how to stay away from the 9 and gain a shot on the 5. This isn't going to be easy. Archer in the chairs probably realizes that he has an awkward angle on the 4, so he's probably hoping that he doesn't do well with it. And this is the type of a shot that, you know what, I really wouldn't be all that surprised if he didn't do well. But then again, with his perfect cue ball speed and his technique that he hits the cue ball with, he's ended up in just about perfect line on the 5, considering from the position he was shooting from.
pretty straight on this 5, so he's not going to be able to get that cue ball away from that right-hand side cushion. So he's just looking where he wants to position it to look at the 6 next.
How thin of a cut does he have here?
No, it's not that thin at all. Are you thinking about the side pocket
Yeah,
coming
I'm
into
thinking
play?
that he may have the natural angle to go toward the 5 if he levels off. And if that's the case, you know, he may have a little bit of a problem because he may have to hit it with that speed. But if he can stay short of the side, he'll be okay.
When he can.
Oh, wow. That was a little closer than I would have liked to have if I was he. Well, it looks like he's gotten through the tough part of this rack, and now if he stays focused here, pockets the 7 and the 9, he'll find himself on the hill. You really have to give this guy respect for the way he plays and how well he plays under pressure situations. He's a champion. He knows he's a champion, and he plays like a champion. This guy's really a player.
Yeah, he's got that look, too. He's just never beats himself, and that's a characteristic that most champions have. 10-8. He's on the hill, breaking for the last time in this match. Johnny Archer knows there's 3 racks to be played in this, and he needs to win every one to stay unbeaten.
And if Johnny Archer ends up not winning this match, you really have to applaud his performance as well, because he has played really, really great in this match. And it's unfortunate that both of them couldn't win this match. But I think this was a really well-played match up to this point.
Yeah, the way that Johnny's played in this, he probably would have beat 95% of the players in this event.
But there's still a little pool left, Jim.
Not over yet. Darren Appleton hopes it is. Rack
Watch
number
that
19.
wing ball. 6 ball, watch the wing ball. He's got the wing ball again. Uh-oh, there's life for Archer. It looks like the cue ball is pretty close to frozen on the 1. It doesn't look like he has a shot on the 1. Archer will make another appearance in this match.
Even if it's a kick.
Now he can certainly feather the cue ball behind the 7. He's shaking his head. He wanted to close it out right here, but he can just flick the edge of that, and he should be able to drop that cue ball right in.
I don't know if
he
he can hit the 1 ball thinly enough to do that. It certainly doesn't appear that it's natural.
Thinly. What do you think now?
I think it looks better from this angle than it did from the other angle. I didn't know you had such keen eyesight. Why doesn't he recognize it? I mean,
Yeah, I think he just wants to go full throttle, doesn't he? But he can't attack here. Just impossible.
no, I'm saying why doesn't
cover?
I'm saying why doesn't he realize all he has to do is just nip the 1 and go behind the 7? He probably isn't that advanced.
Not an intelligent player.
Not at all. Oops. My bad. Oh, he played it a little different way, you know. Instead of going behind the 7 kind of like and nipping it, he repositioned both balls and ended up hooking them that way. But at least Archer has another opportunity at the table. I wouldn't call this a golden opportunity, but nevertheless, an opportunity, and you never can tell what the pool gods have in store.
No, this is the biggest hit for Johnny so far in the 36 U.S. Open. For him to stay unbeaten, he needs to hit this.
This is it. This may be his last chance. Can something good happen for Archer? He desperately needs something good to happen here, because he has very little control of this shot. So he's going to need a little bit of luck.
Got
He's
3.
going to need a little luck here. Oh, he got lucky, and like Danny Di Liberto would say, he got lucky and unlucky on the same shot. But he's still at the table. He's still at the table.
As long as you're quoting me, I would say he's still got the dice.
One more look at that one.
Yeah, he's going to need to
Played
get
this
lucky.
with speed. And he saw that 3 heading down to the corner pocket. And he was probably watching the 1, praying for it to show its face.
Now, what do you do here? Do you get out the jump cue and jump over the 4 and hope to play the combination? Is that a possibility? Huh?
Tell you what,
I mean,
he's
come on,
getting
that's
down.
that's an option. Wouldn't it be an option?
It would be for him because he jumps real well.
Yeah,
Maybe-
you know, that would be an option here. Look at he's going to go to his bag. No, he's not. He tricked me. I thought he was going to go get his jump cue and jump over and play that combination and give us fans, you know, some excitement here. But not that he hasn't already, but, you know, at least he would have made me look pretty good.
Danny says that's impossible.
There was a song like that, Impossible.
One cushion kick.
Yeah, well,
And
he's
again, he'll be playing it at speed.
He's going to have to get lucky again. Or I should say he's going to have to get lucky because he really didn't get kind of lucky last time.
Now, I was telling Danny, you see what he's doing with the Q-tip where he's laying it down like that? If he marks the table, if we had a referee and they deemed him to be marking the table, that would be a foul.
Wow. I'm going to tell you what, I'm not going down. Trust me, I'm not going down. It's not over. It's not over. This is a tough shot coming up. 4-ball in the upper right-hand corner. And I do believe the 8-ball blocks a little bit of the part of that pocket to make this shot play even more difficult than it is. So, big shot coming up, and it's not an easy one, trust me. This is a tough shot.
Yeah, you know what? This is the shot right now. If he can knock this in and get position to the 5,
Yeah.
Darren's enjoying it.
And the position of the 7 isn't a gimme either, considering where it's positioned. So therefore, a lot of work in front of him here.
Top right corner by the 8. Just draw the cue ball over to the left-hand cushion. This shot looks tough from the commentary box. But it
Wow.
doesn't look tough to Johnny Archer. And he's got the angle on the 5 to swing this off 2 cushions and get back on top of the 7 to the same pocket.
You know, I really don't like the angle that he ended up with here. I think it's a little awkward here. I don't think there's anything natural about this angle. You know? I think he would have liked to have had a little more angle, but now he's got to like really stroke it and draw it back. You know, he's got to really stroke this well, draw it back, and hit it clean. He's got to hit the center of the pocket. He's got to draw the cue ball away from the other pocket, 2 cushions. And this shot, even though it appears it isn't that hard, it's definitely a lot more difficult than it appears.
And I think Dennis Hatch has just beaten Naoki Oi. That was the applause you heard over there. So Hatch stays alive. He's in the loser's bracket, and great event for Naoki Oi all the way from Japan.
And that's what I was talking about. You see, he's fallen quite a bit short in this shot because the angle that he had wasn't a natural angle. He had to pound that ball in and stroke it, and he wasn't able to do it. But he does have a bank cross side on the 7.
And there's a bit of commotion over there. Johnny looked over there twice, and finally Ken Schumann had to come over and just remind everyone there's still matches going on.
Now, this is a tough shot because the angle that he has on the bank suggests to me that he has to hit it cleanly and accurately because it's very close to a kiss if he hits it a little off. So he has to get that cue ball away from the 7-ball. I think he can shoot it with a little high left angle possibly and stay on this side of the table. I don't know. It's a tough angle for me to determine what exactly he's going to do. He could play this in a couple different ways, but he doesn't want to get that double kiss. Oh, nicely struck. Wow, what a shot. This is a match here, Jim. 10-8, he's looking to narrow it to 10-9. He still has life. This guy here won't go down. I love the way he's playing. Appleton don't feel really that great
he's not
now.
smiling anymore, is he? That smile's gone.
Hey, he's starting to talk to himself here. Archer's really confident right now. He's come with a couple real good shots. Pressure situations. This is what it's all about here. You know, when you deliver in situations like this, boy, if you win the match, you really walk out real proud with your chest up, shaking hands, smiling.
9 goes down, 10-9. We go to rack number 20. Archer has to win them both, 20 and 21, to stay unbeaten. Oh, what a match.
And if you remember the last time he broke the balls, he found that spot. He made the corner ball and the one in the side.
Ladies and gentlemen, on to the TV table, it's Mr. Appleton 10, Mr. Archer 9. And it's Mr. Wych 9, Mr. Teach 8. Those two matches are still in progress. Also, our evening program will resume tonight at 7:30 rather than 7 o'clock, because we're running a little bit over time.
Appleton again, very intense, but he's not finding any more humor in this match.
Well, you know, I really like the way both of these players have responded. You know, I mean, it's just great stuff. You know, it's been great. I really like the, you know, you really got to take your hat off to both of these players in this match and the way they played. And when we thought Archer was dead in the water, he came when he kicked that one in, kicked the one and made the 3, and then he kicked the one in, and then he made a great shot on the 4, made a great bank on the 7, and now he's back at the table, trailing by 1 game, and with some success with the break the last time. Let's see what he does.
Well, we'll see if he gets that wing ball and the one on the side. Those are the 2 target balls.
He didn't. He's going to get the 7. He's going to have control of the table. Let's see if he gets a shot. He has a shot on the 1. Okay, he has a shot on the 1. The 2 balls positioned on the other side of the table, along with the 3 near the upper left-hand corner. The 4 is positioned in the center of the table. The 5 near the upper right-hand pocket. The 6 in front of the side. Boy, I really like his chances here.
Well, he's using an awful lot of body English, so he is really into this one.
And the guy in the chair, Appleton, sees the layout that Archer has, and maybe he might even feel right now that he may be an underdog to win this match. He puts down this 1. He's going to carry natural position for the 2. He wants to get pretty straight on the 2 because he has the position of the 3 on the same side of the table. And to do that, he's going to have to hit it a little harder than he would like because of the angle that he has on the 1. It's not the type of a shot you really want to hit hard. So therefore, he has to hit it cleanly if he hits it hard. He opted to not to hit it hard, but in doing that, he's going to have a little longer shot on the 3. You know, he may have to roll this in. He's scratching his head now because this is what he played for. I don't know if it was the right choice. We'll soon find out. But, you know, he doesn't really like the angle that he's left himself with on the 2. The 4 ball's a real big ball. Could end up, you know, hooking him. So he's going to stay away from the 4. So, he's got some work from the 2 to the 3 right now. There's nothing easy about this shot. This is going to be a big shot in this rack right here. Big shot coming up. He was able to
All right, this
soft
is
stroke.
Pat Fleming, and for all of those viewers who have signed up for the pay-per-view
Yeah, he's enjoying
for
this.
just this
You can see him.
afternoon,
He walks back to
then
his chair.
please,
The look on his face.
at 6:45, your screen may freeze or go black. Please just log in again and check off Friday extension. Okay, so if you just signed up for this afternoon, it may freeze or go black at 6:45. Just log back in and click Friday extension. Thank you.
Okay, now the angle that he has on the 3 isn't a good one either. You know, I mean, there's no guarantee that he's going to come up with a good shot on the 4, considering the angle that he has on the 3. Because he's going to have to pocket the 3, put all his concentration in pocket, go cross table, and then go halfway cross table, playing position for the 4 in the lower left-hand corner. But most of all, he's going to go forward with the cue ball. This is very risky here. He could go around he could hit the 8. He could hit the 8 and end up behind the 6. Very risky shot. Very risky. No, I don't think he's made it. I didn't like the way he played it. The angle that he had was a very awkward angle, and it really didn't suggest that there was anything easy he had available to him. I like going across table and then playing position for the 4 in the corner. He opted to go forward, and I knew the 8 ball was going to be a big ball.
He should have went the angle of less snookerdom. I just invented that.
Danny was just saying he should have gone the angle of less snookerdom, Bill.
Yeah, and that would have been cross table. Cross table, yeah, because it was a risky shot if you go forward. I didn't like it when he was going forward. I'm sure he didn't like it before he shot the shot. He knew it wasn't anything natural about that shot. It ended up behind the 6, and he's really, really unhappy about the results, and I don't blame him, because he was making a strong comeback. He was playing great, you know, and to find him behind a ball from the position he was in isn't really the way he wanted to go out.
Well, he's got to hit this 4, and he's got to get it safe. And that, assuming he doesn't make anything.
Well, how many rabbits can you pull out of the hat? You know, I mean, I don't know how many there are in the hat, but he's pulled a few out the last couple racks. You know, not that he hasn't earned it, but you know, he's in a position now where I don't know. I don't see anything good that can happen here.
No, and it's not the easiest hit in the world either. He's looking at the bottom cushion and playing it at speed.
The 9's in the way for a good solid kick, so he's going to have to kick with English. The 6 ball is going to hamper that somewhat. He's not going to be able to get a good strike on the cue ball because of the position of the 6. A lot of problems with this shot, you know, a lot of problems here.
Darren Appleton has to feel like he's going to come out of his chair with a chance here. He has to.
Well, Archer would love to make contact with this ball, because if you make contact with the ball, you never can tell. Maybe the cue ball will end up behind the 5 somewhere, because he's going to hit the outside of the 6, or excuse me, the 4, and the cue ball is going to go down the table somewhere toward the 5, or that direction at least. And he can even hit the 4 ball thickly and still get that direction with the cue ball, and it'll slow it up. So, you know, he's going to have to hit it with a little English here to create the angle. So maybe he'll end up behind the 5 with the cue ball.
Yeah, where he's looking right now, he will have to play with the English, Billy, because it looks straight ball like he'll just go by the 4 on the right-hand side as we look. So just a trace of English.
Exactly. Now, if he hits the 4 thickly, he could end up behind the 5 with the cue ball. No, he missed it altogether. That's really what he didn't want to do, obviously. The position of all the balls are too easy. Doesn't look good for Archer.
No, but he sits in his chair. He knows it was of his own doing, you know, playing that shot, leaving the cue ball behind the 6. He had the controls in his hand, and as you said, Bill, the way that he was breaking, He might even have been favorite at 10-9 down.
Yeah, he had a good opportunity to run out. But when he played the one ball the way that he did, he complicated the remainder of the rack because he got an awkward angle on the 2, which ended up with an awkward angle on the 3, which eventually put him behind the 6. So the one ball was the key ball for him to get a good position on the 2 to win this rack, and he wasn't able to get the position on the 2 that he needed.
Some kind of performance from both of them, though.
Yeah,
Probably the highest standard match we've had on the TV table.
you really have to applaud both of these players, you know, for their play here in this match. I really have enjoyed watching these guys play.
And Appleton will secure the 9. And punctuate a great win. He knows it. A very game fight from Johnny Archer. But the defending champion trying to do what only 2 players have done in the past. Mika Immonen, Nick Varner, move over. Darren Appleton's looking to make some room. He stays undefeated, and Johnny Archer's got to fight his way back from the loser's bracket. Well, Billy, it was a great match. Great to have you up here. I hope you're going to grace us with a little bit more of your insight and expertise again. Danny and I welcome you anytime.
Well, thank you, Jim. And it was great working with you again, and it was a great match, and I really enjoyed doing it, especially with you. And